It is my pleasure to welcome to the stage the one and only founder and CEO of Involve, Mr. Suki Sandhu, OBE.
To the jungle. She's so wild, so animal. She gonna work that sexy body, so sexual. She's like a female phenomenon. She's a Amazon female phenomenon.
That's as much voguing as you're getting from me tonight. And I didn't even know what that music choice was, by the way. Thank you, Ben. Where is he? Oh, is that? You look ravishing this evening. Don't you think? So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our 5th Outstanding Gala dinner. Once again, the team have done a fabulous job and found us this incredible venue. Don't you think it looks fantastic? That ceiling. I mean, there's an actual throne behind me. They clearly know this queen very well. But I'm not allowed to sit on it, apparently. But anyway, before I go any further, I'd like to give a huge thank you to our sponsors for this evening, Aon, Dow, Gilead, and Hitachi Rail. You're all blazing the trail for diversity and inclusion in your respective fields, and we couldn't put on an amazing event like tonight without your support, so thank you. 3 years ago, I stood up on stage in front of many of you, lamenting the political turmoil in this country and anxiously anticipating a change of government across the pond. Fast forward to today, and very little has changed. Under the current administration, it feels like some of the progress that has been made in recent years is being reversed, with the global rise of populism and increasingly more extreme political leanings making for worrying reading. In the US Supreme Court, deliberations are threatening LGBT workplace rights. In Uganda, MPs are pushing for the reintroduction of an old law making homosexual acts punishable by death. In Chechnya, we continue to see the unlawful detention, beating, and humiliation of suspected gay and bisexual men. In Brazil, a country with some of the highest levels of anti-LGBT violence in the world, one LGBT person is killed every 19 hours. And here in the UK, homophobic and transphobic hate crime is on the up, fueling the rise of movements like the LGB Alliance. Yeah, boo. They're using uninformed rhetoric to supposedly promote inclusion, while simultaneously excluding the entire trans community from their activism. Almost 20 years into this millennium, in a world that has seen so much positive progress, it sickens me to see such hatred and vitriol. We do not and will not support this breakout group. I stood up here last year expressing love and support for our trans family, and I will say it again. Inclusion means inclusion for everyone. Our rights and freedoms are being threatened globally, and we have a duty to stand together in solidarity. An attack on the trans community is an attack on all of us. I'm now going to step off my soapbox, as dwelling on negativity for this evening is not the plan, and that's not why we're here. The Outstanding Gala is a night of joy, unity, and celebration. It's a night of recognizing what we've achieved as a community and collectively inspiring one another to keep going. And there's a lot to celebrate. Northern Ireland has finally arrived in the 21st century with legalizing same-sex marriage. The sporting world, an industry rarely found at the forefront of LGBT inclusion, is making greater progress than ever before. We have LGBT supporters groups at Premier League football clubs. We have world-class rugby players campaigning for HIV awareness and destigmatization. And we have people like the incredible Megan Rapinoe unapologetically being herself and leading her national football team to glory. She's an inspiration to people everywhere, and I personally love her. There's a big fan at the back. One thing that struck me when reviewing the nominations for this year's list was the bravery and resilience that many of our role models were showing in order to live and succeed as their authentic selves. As any LGBT person will testify, for every person who welcomes you with open arms, there are just as many who don't. These might be families, teachers, colleagues, or friends. And each and every one sets you back slightly, meaning you have to work that little bit harder than your non-LGBT peers. And that's before we even begin to overlay any elements of intersectionality. Our list this year have been the most global to date. We have 24 countries represented across 5 continents. And whilst the LGBT community faces challenges, yeah, that's a round of applause. And whilst the LGBT community faces challenges in the UK, we know that members of the community elsewhere have a far tougher time than we do. Across the world, LGBT people face serious human rights abuses simply for being themselves. Some of you may have noticed that this year, our lists have a charity partner, the brilliant Give Out. Give Out is an award-winning charity enabling individuals and businesses to donate funds to support LGBT activism. They distribute pooled donations as grants to activist-led organizations around the world, ensuring they have more of the resources they need to defend their communities and campaign for equality. When you consider that radical right-wing organizations, those most vehemently opposed to our community, are receiving twice as much more core funding as those driving LGBT activism, the need for Give Out is made abundantly clear. Here to you this evening is the founder of IraQueer, the first and only LGBT-led human rights organization in Iraq and recipient of a Give Out grant. Please welcome to the stage Amir Ashour.
I don't think it's a good idea to speak after Suki, Sandhu, and being able to cover everything everyone wants to talk about, but such a great evening and such a great opportunity to be here. Thank you for organizing this. Thank you for bringing so many amazing people together, and thank you for choosing Give Out as your official partner. I come from Iraq. I'm a human rights activist from Iraq. Gay. And like Suki said, I started IraQueer, which is Iraq's first and only LGBT+ organization. All the examples Suki mentioned are not really that different from what's happening in Iraq. From discrimination in the workplace, to education, to even being killed because you were simply born gay or queer in general. The work we do is extremely difficult and extremely isolating. We live in a country where we don't really have access to a lot of resources, which makes the work Suki, Give Out, and so many of you here do even more important, because we're forced to rely on the support and the passion people like you have. So what Give Out does basically is to offer not only funding but also just support to organizations that work in very difficult environments. And Give Out is supported by people like Suki, by people like the ones who run Gay Times, and many others who are very passionate about social change, especially for LGBT+ people. And for us specifically, The support we get from Give Out enables us to do work without having to think about what specific project we need to do, because they are focusing on the core funding of the organizations, which a lot of funders are actually pulling away from. Personally, I can attest to the importance of having support from groups and individuals who are present here. I've been personally and professionally supported by Suki and other people like Elliot Vaughn who started Give Out. And I could tell you I wouldn't have been here today if I didn't get that kind of support. So let me tell you why it's important for you to support these movements around the world through Give Out and other groups. I'll give you 2 reasons. How many of you here, show me by showing hands, how many of you here want to one day work in Iraq? Okay, a few hands. I have plans to be the Prime Minister. If you support now, we will make it easier for you too. We'll make it easier for you then. Reason 2, and most important reason, a lot of you here have been facing discrimination one way or another, and you fought your way to where you are now. A lot of us in places like Iraq want to continue fighting to get to a time and place where we can have outstanding events happening in Iraq, where we can choose the best of the best who are passionate about social change for LGBT plus people. And in order for us to do that, we need your support. And we made it easy for you. I know Give Out team is present here. You have a lot of material in your gift bags. Some of it is about Give Out and the work they do. And they're going to be here the entire evening, and you can speak to them about the work they do and the partnerships we have, whether to Rupert Abbott or the other colleagues who are present here. Thank you again so much, Suki, for this event, for your support to Give Out, and for all the work you do for LGBT plus people in the UK, around the world. You're leading by example, and we need so many more of you to make this world so much better. Have a good evening.
Can you imagine Amir as Prime Minister of Iraq? You've got my money. I'll be the first to donate. Amir, you really are an inspiration. And I met this boy probably 2 years ago and helped fund his tuition in the US because I completely am behind what he's trying to do in that country, in that region, where a lot of people would give up on a country like Iraq because they think it's not going to be able to change. But it only takes one person to change the world, and I believe that's Amir for that country. So a round of applause for you. I think hearing stories like that reminds me that we all need to remember how lucky we are. Living in the UK, the US, and many other countries you've flown in from today, we can sometimes take a lot of our privilege for granted. We must remember how fortunate we are to be here tonight, celebrating together without fear of persecution. It's worth taking a minute to think about those around the world who don't have it so easy, and think about what you could be doing to help, like giving a donation to Give Out. One thing that you're all doing already, just by being here, is recognizing the power of role models, and that makes me so proud. This is the 7th year that we've published our role model list, and the competition was the toughest I've ever seen. We had more submissions from across the world than ever before, as well as greater ethnic and gender diversity, and a more balanced split across the L, G, B, T, and plus categories. Diversity is what makes things more compelling, so I'm so pleased that our role models, in particular our future leaders, are fueling the diverse executive pipeline of tomorrow. Could I please ask all of this year's role models to stand up? hope that you've all spotted the role model badges by your place cards. So please put them on and wear them with pride so that everyone can congratulate you later on during the evening. I'm so happy to have so many of you in the room with us this evening, and I hope that you're having the best time. Coming together and celebrating your achievements is so important, and you cannot underestimate the impact you have on others. I need to give a huge thank you to Yahoo Finance for giving a global platform to showcase these role models. You can't really miss Leanna Brinded with the red hair, but a big thank you to her. It's the third set of role model lists that we've partnered with Yahoo Finance on this year, and they've been an absolute pleasure to work with. Their commitment to diversity is unwavering, and their global reach has helped us spread our message far and wide. On that note, I need to thank our PR team at Pan UK, who've been working their socks off to secure media coverage for the list. Through their efforts and Yahoo Finance's reach, we've reached an impressive 170 million people globally today alone. I want to also give a special shout out to Bobby Pickard, who gave an incredible interview on the BBC News channel this morning. Well done, Bobby, you rocked it. Another enormous thank you has to go to our incredible events team, especially Sophie Baldwin and Rachel Gardam. You both surpassed yourselves this year. I kind of had to do a double take when I saw the canapes arriving on peacocks and crowns, but amazing. You can probably imagine that the process of administering, compiling, and publishing our lists is no mean feat, especially with the number of submissions we receive. So please can we get a round of applause for Dale Hall, our role modeling manager, and the rest of the event comms team. And of course, I couldn't let this evening pass without thanking the wider Involved team for all their work and support, both tonight and all year round. Whilst we've grown, we're still a pretty small team, and it takes a lot of teamwork and pitching in to pull off events like this. So whether you are packing goodie bags, checking people in, or doing any one of the other essential tasks, thank you, thank you, thank you. And before I forget, I should also thank my husband, Manuel. I really, really appreciate you putting up with all my early mornings, all my late nights. You probably think I'm having an affair. And in fact, he thinks I'm having an affair with Barry's boot camp. But you're probably appreciating the me time as well. Love you long time. I mean, what an evening. Given the timing of tonight and the fact it's on the eve of what should have been a pretty significant day, and I'm not talking about Halloween, I think it's a miracle I've made it through this speech without mentioning the B word. And you all know me well enough to know that I have a lot of opinions on that subject, but I don't want to get into any trouble. Paul's looking at me. I think he's expecting me to say something profound. So for now, I'll keep quiet about the nightmare on Downing Street. Rather than arguments, divisions, and separation, tonight we're here to celebrate togetherness, unity, and progress. Whatever happens politically, we know that diverse businesses perform better. And with you doing all the incredible work that you do, we can at least count on more diverse, inclusive, and profitable workplaces amidst this chaos. So please, please keep doing what you're doing. Consider it your national duty. All that's left for me to say is thank you and well done to everyone on this year's list. You're an inspiration and a beacon of hope, and you deserve a night filled with happiness and love. You are all role models, and the world is your inclusion catwalk. Now go strut your stuff.